Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Karen is so entitled she doesn't know how working hours work. You're not the only one with a life, Karen. That worker wants to go home after a shift, not cater to your fallacy that the world revolves around you. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Garden Center Karen complains to my manager. I work in retail, and my particular place of employment has a garden center with register. At 8 p.m., we close and lock the garden center exit gate and shut down our outside registers. We have big signs stating this. Customers can still shop in the garden center, they just have to go inside to check out and exit the store. I'm a cashier supervisor. It was my responsibility to close and lock the gate and collect the register money so that my cashier, I'll call her Tiff, can go home. I was already running behind due to an issue at customer service and didn't make it to the outside register till 8:05-ish. I started locking up the gate when a woman, Karen, approached us. Karen, keep that gate open. Tiff, I'm sorry, but we actually closed down the garden center registers and locked the gate at 8 p.m. You'll have to check out inside. Karen, but I have 4 carts of plants and I'm parked right out there. Tiff looks to me. I figured that she was getting ready to check out right now, so I shrugged and said, okay, and unlocked and opened the gate back up. Karen doesn't say anything, but instead of going to grab her carts, she's with her whole family, a husband and 2 kids, but they're irrelevant, she goes back to shopping and grabbing plants. I'm thinking, oh, she just needs 1 or 2 more. Only take her a minute. 8:15 rolls around and Karen's still shopping. Tiff was supposed to be off 15 minutes ago and she still has to help me pull the garden register money. We do it in pairs. Me. Okay, we'll go ahead and close the gate and start pulling the registers. If they finish up before we finish, we'll go ahead and check them out and let them out. Tiff agrees and I close and lock the gate again. Has to be secure before I can pull money. I figured this would give Karen more time to shop before we had to go inside so I could send my cashier home. 8:30 comes by and Karen is still shopping. I have all the money pulled and had double-checked the gates. I had to send Tiff home. She'd been really nice to wait as long as she had. Karen was still pretty deep in shopping, so I figured she'd be able to read the signs better now on all the registers outside, telling her to go inside with her purchases. We went inside. Once inside, I sent Tiff home and continued with my duty so we can close. Finally, at 9:15, Karen emerges with her family, the carts of plants, and her red face. She glares me down while demanding my front cashier, Brooke, get her a manager. Brooke starts to wave me over because I am her direct supervisor and therefore her manager. Karen, I don't want her. Get me someone else. I know exactly why she wants a manager. Do I call the outside garden department manager, Bob? And before I can start filling him in on the situation, he tells me that he knows exactly why I'm calling him. Apparently, she'd spoken to him outside and was demanding to know why the registers were shut down despite her telling me directly to leave the registers up. He had told her, well, we close those at 8 p.m. You just have to check out inside. Karen, well, she probably only makes $7 an hour. She could have waited like I told her to. I'm a customer, and that means my money goes into her paychecks. At this point, he'd recognized her as an entitled Karen and told her that she still has to check out inside. So now Karen's inside and being snotty to Brooke, who's very politely trying to ring her up. I stand off to the side and call my manager, the head honcho, I'll call him Dean, to explain the situation. He already knew most of it because Bob had already warned him. This whole time, I'm keeping an ear out for Brooke just in case the Karen decides to make scene during checkout. Dean makes it up to her and starts talking to her. I wasn't close enough to hear this conversation, but Brooke gave me the rundown later. She tried to say that I was being very disrespectful by closing the gate and that because she asked me to leave it open, I should have left it open. Dean, well, she was only doing her job. She has to close down the garden center registers at 8 p.m. Karen, I don't care. My money goes into her paycheck. She should obey me. And she went into a whole spiel about how much money she spends in our store. Dean then pointed out that it had been 10 minutes. Sure, I could have waited, but she didn't finish shopping till an hour later. He was not about to make me stand out there and babysit that gate for an hour just so she can not have to walk a few extra steps. Karen wasn't getting her way and she really disliked it. She asked for the corporate number and said she'd be reporting us. He then thanked her and she left in a huff. It was nice to have the manager on my side. I like when Karens don't get their way. Stay mad, B-word. Should have locked the front gate as well. Karen sounds like she needs some time to learn not to be such a butt. And our second story. Where are your folding chairs? So I do in-store marketing for a certain blue satellite TV company. Since I'm usually stationed in either Walmart or Menards, my blue polo with the company logo that I wear tends to make people think I work there. It's usually not a problem. I usually point them in the right direction and use my assistants to help me get a sale. One day I was in a Menards location that I'd not been to before, so the layout was a little different from what I was used to. I greeted a customer who had walked by the kiosk I was stationed at, and the following exchange occurred. He'll be AG for Angry Guy, and I'll be me for Marketing Expert. AG, where are your folding chairs? Me, were you looking for outdoor or indoor? AG, indoor. Me, points in the general direction of the folding chairs. AG, nah, don't point, man, just show me where they are. It's at this point that I realized he wanted me to walk him down there, but I wasn't sure of the exact location of the chairs. I did, however, know that there was a big help desk right in the general area that they would be in. I informed the man that I'm just a vendor and don't know exactly where everything is, but that there will be someone down that way that can help him out. AG, what? You work here, don't you? Come here, man. I don't have time for this bullcrap. Follow me down there and show me where they're at. I'm not sure what possessed me to follow him. Maybe I was just hopeful that he would leave me alone if I turned him over to the help desk. I was wrong, though. Me, sir, like I said, I'm just a vendor. The woman at the desk can help you find the folding chairs, but I need to get back to work. I don't work for Menards. AG, I'm going to ask you one more time. Where are your folding chairs? Me, sir, I only know that they're in this general area. The desk can tell you exactly where they're at. It's important to note at this point that we'd been walking and talking at the same time and we're about 10 feet from the help desk. It's at this point that the man gets a very annoyed expression on his face and says, "Fine, but you're going up there with me." Since it was slow, I followed him, curious to see what he'd tell the poor girl at the help desk. She'll be HG. HG, hi, can I help you with something? AG, yes, can you explain to me why this associate doesn't know where your merchandise is and keeps trying to hand me off to you? I once again explained that I'm a vendor there and don't actually work for Menards. AG rolls his eyes and looks over at the HG. HG, he doesn't work here, sir. He's just here to sell satellite TV. AG, with a look of shock, You don't work here? Me, no, sir. I was trying to explain that. It's at this moment that he finally looks at the logo on my shirt and turns away from me with his head down. HG takes him over to the folding chairs and I return to my kiosk. A few minutes later, he stopped by and said, "Hey man, I'm sorry about that. I've just had a long day, so I guess I was sort of out of it. Sorry for yelling at you like that, man." Me, it's fine, sir. I can understand the confusion. AG, you have a good day now. Me, you too, sir. A happy ending in a sub where the stories usually consist of pure blood and anger. But I thought it was worth sharing nonetheless. I ended up working at that store for a while after this incident, but never saw AG again. I think that's the thing. When a human being is genuinely confused, the human brain blocks out any sort of new information that contradicts what it already assumes to be true. He expects a lame excuse from a rude customer rep, and when we say we don't work here, it's filed away automatically as a lame excuse without being processed. And our next story. Going to WC, send email so people know. Last week, I was working from home one day, and I got up to use the bathroom and make a cup of coffee. Took 10 minutes tops. I get back to my computer to a bunch of messages from my boss getting increasingly nasty about something and why I wasn't answering quick enough for her. I send a message back with whatever it was she needed to know and apologize for not getting back to her soon enough. When she finally answered me, about half an hour later, she said if I'm not going to be at my computer for any amount of time, I need to send an email to everyone in my office, including high-level executives, that said I'll be unavailable for X amount of time and why. So that's what I've been doing. My normal phrasing for the message is, "Hi, I'll be unavailable from this time to this time as I'm going to use the bathroom / make some coffee, etc." Every single person in my office has told me it's fine, and I don't need to tell them when I'm going to be gone for a few minutes, where I then forward them the original exchange between me and my boss and apologize but say this is what my direct report has told me to do. And this is the result if I don't. They all hate her as much as I do now. And our last story. I'm not part of your HOA, lady. I, 25-year-old male, live in my family's cottage, which I was given ownership of. The cottage itself is a waterfront property facing a medium-sized lake. My family's been living here for generations as my great-grandfather originally bought it before passing it down, eventually leading to me. My neighbors are a different story, as many of the people I've known since childhood have moved out. The houses that my neighbors once had have been torn down and replaced with designer-style homes. With the construction of these homes came new neighbors and an HOA of which I am not a member. My problem started with my next-door neighbor, Sophie, female, 50 to 60, overfishing. One day, after doing some canoe fishing, I was approached by Sophie on my beach. She started asking if it was legal to fish on the lake, to which I said it was, as long as you pay the $25 per year license. After that, I said that I had to go as I had caught some fish and wanted to start processing them for dinner as it was getting late. After our conversation, I didn't hear from her for over 2 weeks. My encounter with her this time was not in person, but through a letter. In this letter, she wrote about how dangerous fishing is to the environment and why I should stop. In response, I chose to simply chuck it in my recycling bin and ignore, as it wasn't worth my time. My most recent encounter was 2 days ago while I had some friends over. It was in the afternoon when I had run back into the house to grab some beers along with one of my friends. While grabbing the drinks, we heard a knock at the door. When I answered the door, it was Sophie, and she had another letter. Before handing the letter, she said that she had tried to be diplomatic, and now she has had enough and has a letter from the HOA. Admittedly, I was a bit tipsy at the time, and in response, I laughed and called her stupid for believing the HOA can do anything before closing the door on her. I sent her a letter telling her that if she comes back onto my property, I'll call the police and have her trespassed and report her to the HOA. Then I put up a sign at the entrance to my property saying, "No trespassing." I'm dying to know how fishing is bad for the environment. I feel like you're sitting on a gold mine of material here. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.